Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And let it be so.
And let it be so.
Cool. Cool.
So anyway, but I think the big takeaway for right now is um, instead of, it used to be full moons were about letting go and new moons were about starting things. I think that's kind of changed now.
Mhm.
And it's now, what do I need to get ready for the changes that are coming within me, within the world, within where I am? Uh, and how do we, what do we need to have to do this? And that starting your day with that mantra will really help. But one of the things that they're really talking about now is the necessity of having community. And this is um, more like individual areas that are not necessarily working within the confines of the structures we have been boxed into for so long. And how can we build these if we haven't already started? A lot of places all over the world uh, have either really already started, have some of working, or are doing their best to get them moving as fast as possible. But what do we need? And there's a lot of information out there for starting or moving in this direction, having these small communities together and knowing, having thought for beforehand, what do we need for this? What is absolutely crucial? What tools do we need to have in place for what we will need? Obviously we will need some sort of healthcare, as opposed to what most of us have all over the world right now, which is sick care.
Yeah.
Um, so how do we need to have a system of healthcare, which is going to involve a lot of rethinking of what this is. And that and food and some sort of agreements as to how we are all going to be within this, not just in our individuality and what we can bring to the table, but how do we all function together as a single unit, by without having all of the trappings that we have all been placed around and that
Yeah.
we've all had for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah.
And so that's a lot of what's coming up for me right now, is making these changes so that we can sustainably live in in the beyond times as we go forward with this.
Right.
And I don't know if your community is currently doing much of this. I know my community has already started on some of this.
Nice. It depends on who you talk to, but it's not probably as much as your community. Yeah.
Well, it would depend on who you talk to in my community too.
Yeah.
But as long as there is something started,
Yeah.
um, and yes, like I said, there's information all over about how to do this now
Hmm.
from those who've already done it, and they've got their little communities working.
Good.
And like I said, it's just a matter of being able to let go of holding on to what has been given to us from the past,
Mm.
what we've been told this is the only way, and of course it's not.
No.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I would really have to think about what I'm about to say, but the concept of only one way for anything seems very limited, right? That's a,
controlling, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So,
And then how do we let go of all of those controlling kinds of things, the limited beliefs that we have been that have been basically forced down our throats for a very long time.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And they're telling me right now I should give you my little song that I told you about earlier. Let
Okay.
me preface this song. First of all, in this song, the terms LBS term stands for limiting belief systems. BS stands for belief systems. And this is important because that's what most of us live in, have lived in for back in many, many generations back. And the generations that we've been talking about recently, and how they want to be remembered and how they want their wisdom to come forth, they're all behind us going, maybe it's time to let go of the parts that didn't work and keep the parts, the wisdom that we learned from that. So anyway, the song is a little excerpt. It's actually the refrain from a Michael Bolton song called Time, Love, and Tenderness. And this is, he put this out like back in the 1990s. So if you don't know who this is or what this is, don't worry about it too much. You can look it up if you want to. He had a wonderful, wonderful deep voice. He was such a good crooner, and he had the most magnificent hair, neither of which I have. But we're going to try and redo a little part of his song to give you a memory tool to be able to think about how this works. So give me just a second and I'll get into this. When life puts you through the fire, when life puts you to the test, nothing heals a human life like letting go of LBS. If you think your life is over, then just remember this. Nothing heals a human life like letting go of all BS. There
Well
you
done.
go.
Good words. That's amazing and very well sung. I love it.
And they just gave me this like the 2 days ago. So, if it didn't come out quite perfectly, it's okay.
It's good. It has a really, really powerful message, though.
It does. And if I had his powerful voice, it would be even more powerful. But at least it gives everyone out there another tool to be thinking about, how do we get through these times? And what is it going to take to get to the new times? What's it going to take for us to move forward?
Yeah.
And that's really what it's all about, is letting go of all of everything that we've taught. We were supposed to, this was supposed to be truth,
Mm.
but it's not really true.
Right.
And it's
Right.
not serving us, and it's not helping us to move forward.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And the whole connotation of BS is very interesting because we have a particular phrase that comes up in our minds in our Western world that
By the way, I didn't necessarily come up with that one. The first time I heard it was from Suzanne Griezmann.
yeah.
I can't remember her last name. So I think it's Suzanne Griezmann, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Anyway, she's the first one, and she was very careful to point out that this meant belief systems. And every time she uses those two letters, it means belief systems, which
Hmm.
of course could easily be, sort of put next to what most people consider that term to be.
Yeah.
The thing is, the LBS is also, for those of you who are not familiar with it, the American symbol for measuring weight. So if you have a lot of LBS, limiting belief systems, they are probably weighing you down. That one came from them. And so I don't know that I've heard it from anybody else ever. So they're really wanting us to understand the concept of how to let go of what no longer serves.
Mm. Yep. Yep. Putting things
Geisman,
down.
Suzanne Geisman, that's her name.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. Putting things down. We don't have to carry it anymore.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
And we don't have to think of it as, uh, um, we don't have to like that we're pulling it behind us or that it is supporting us, which it's not.
Yeah. Right.
It's time for us to live free,
Right.
to
Yeah.
move forward, living without all that weight.
Yeah. The question that came through to me is, what is it supporting? Right. And so when we can ask questions of the LBS and the BS that we have, in whatever terms you want to think of it. Are you talking about limiting belief system, your belief system, or the other weight and other phrase? Really, what is it supporting? It probably won't be supporting you, right? It's like you said, it could be limiting, it could be weighing on you, it could be constraining you from your true self, that true vision, the sense of purpose, whatever you want to call it, the truth.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
couldn't have said it better.
Yeah. So cool. I love this. This song needs to hit the charts again.
Doubting it. But thank you, Michael Bolton, for putting it out there in the first place.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe he'll put it out again. Who knows? Wonderful. And finding the lightheartedness in it. This light that you and I are sharing right now. This.
Yeah, which
Love it.
is what happens when you let go of pounds and BS.
Yes.
Yes.
Emotionally, spiritually, mentally, yes.
Physically, even.
And physically. Yeah. All of it. All of it. You know. Fun times. Yeah. Interesting stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.